r/AskReddit. What is something perfectly legal that feels illegal? Trying to lockpick my own house cause I can't find my key. My little brother is the type of guy to crack open a Gatorade to quench his thirst, browse around the store and then check out the empty Gatorade bottle at the end. My mom did that with ice cream when we were kids, so we'd have our sweets and shut up about wanting anything else. She'd place the empty wraps on the belt for checkout. Cashiers never had a problem with it as long as the barcode was intact, and some other parents actually liked the idea. Ice cream equals best pacifier in a store full of sweets. Taking men in napkins from a cafe restaurant and pocketing them to use as tissues. Pro tip: Starbucks and Chipotle have the best ones. McDonald's can be rough on the nose. My husband is obsessed with the high quality of the Chipotle forks. He keeps a bunch in his car for fork emergencies. An 18-year-old marrying a 70-year-old. Taking more than one free sample. I always make sure to bring my fake mustache and hat. Taking a free sample of food when walking past a food vendor. Obviously they're offering it for free and obviously there are no laws being broken. But I just cannot help but feel guilty, so I stand there after eating said sample and pretend to deliberate if I plan to purchase a meal there or not before slowly walking away once I've lost the attention of the guy handing out the samples. They don't care. I don't think they're looking to make a profit on the stand for the day. They're trying to get their product into as many hands as possible to hopefully have a small percentage success rate of lifetime customers. Going through a metal detector always gives me anxiety, even though I usually have nothing to hide. Going into a store to use the restroom without buying anything. Walking through nothing to declare at the airport and having a nagging concern that just maybe you managed to pack 5 kilos of cocaine, a handgun, several tons of pest-infested fruit and 2,000 cigarettes over the tobacco limit. It's always a gamble, but I've been lucky so far. Filling out government forms. I answer honestly, but constantly feel like I'm going to misinterpret a question and somehow commit some manner of bureaucratic felony. Edit. Damn. Thanks for the upvotes and the metal. Mysterious benefactors. Having something of yours in your pocket while in a store that also sells that thing. I once brought in with me a bottle of water and got hassled for it, and I was buying other items. So like, yeah, I really needed to steal that 30-cent bottle of water. Anyway, they checked the cameras and apologized rather unenthusiastically. Edit. To all the people asking me about the 30-cent water, I live in Eastern Europe. Thus the low price of water and the moody condescending retail workers. As for the legal point of view, they didn't at any point detain me. One cashier stayed with me at the register, while another went to check the cameras. Of course I could have walked away, but I went there almost every day and felt like I should stay and clear things up. After a while I heard from some people that at that same store, they walked in with some sodas, half empty, and the cashier tried to take it out of their hands and scan it. I guess it's their thing. Bringing home a newborn infant. Edit. First gold. Thanks, stranger. But the catch is that it's gotta be yours, right? Just making sure. Driving when near a cop. Everyone in front of me feels the same way. Speed limit of 80. Everyone cruising at 85. Cop passes. Lights off. Everyone shows down to 75. Cannibalism. If I am not mistaken. You are not. In the US you can consume someone's flesh as long as they consent. Reading most all of a book in a bookstore and then putting it back on the shelf. When I owned a used bookstore I had several reading nooks with side tables, lamps, and big comfy chairs just for this. Having a tank as your personal vehicle. Just buy one with a credit card. Don't worry about paying it off. They won't go after someone with a tank. Nobody will. Going into Costco, eating all the free samples, then walking out. It's legal, but I feel like a scumbag when I do it, LMAO. That's probably how they want you to feel, so you feel obligated to buy something. Ripping off a few bananas before you buy them from the grocery store if you don't want the whole bundle. Joining a cult. Starting a cult. Stockpiling firearms as a cult. Walk into an Ulta beauty store and spraying some expensive cologne from the tester bottle before going to your interview. Update. No, I don't overdo it. I like light smells. Too heavy and I get a headache as well. Something that's fresh because I want to feel like a new car going into an interview or a date or wherever I have that's somewhat important or gives a good first impression. I once went into Ulta and left with a full face of makeup from trying new things. I didn't buy anything and probably would have felt guilty, but I was tipsy. Calling a teacher by their first name. Like it's not illegal but it's illegal. Accidentally calling a teacher mom or dad. Driving 250 plus kilometers per hour on the German autobahn. Especially when crossing the border from another country and you can drive so much faster that you're used to from the country you made holiday in. The autobahn is ducking terrifying. I remember when my ex let me drive her car for a while. I pulled out to pass someone just as I noticed a BMW in the rearview mirror. By the time I'd pulled back over into the slow lane, it had already gone flying past me. Truly insane speed. It felt like I'd stumbled onto a Formula 1 track by accident. Adjusting your penis when it gets scrunched up against your inner thigh on an airplane. Marrying someone for their money. Then divorcing them and taking almost everything. This isn't my original idea, but going through customs at the airport you always feel like you've done something wrong. Like, what if I accidentally have a gun? I don't even own a gun. But what if I accidentally have a gun? How would I explain that? Turning the light on inside the car when you're driving. I called my mom out when I realized recently it's not illegal. You lied to me. You know what this woman says? Are you sure? My mom always told me it was illegal. 53 years my mother believed her mother's lie and passed it on to her kids. 53 years. Doing anything but in sight of a police car. They pull up behind me and I'm suddenly running a list in my head of all the illegal things I might have done. Registration? Up to date. Car inspection? Up to date. Am I drunk? No. You actually don't drink. Hi? Not today. Weed? Safely hidden at home. Connecting Lego flat pieces sideways. Walking out from a shop without buying anything. For real, the worst thing for me is when I spend 10 plus minutes in a store looking for one thing and one thing only to find they do not have it. So I end up buying at least a soda. IDKY. It's like I know I've done nothing wrong, but I have some weird fear of being accused. Drinking a beer on the street in New Orleans. Taking somebody else's full cart of food at the grocery store. You can literally take anything from anybody's cart before paying. The Yellowstone Zone of Death is the name given to the 50 square mi, 129.50 km2, Idaho section of Yellowstone National Park in which, as a result of a loophole in the Constitution of the United States, a criminal could theoretically get away with any crime, up to and including murder. Wikipedia. Buying alcohol for the first time when you turn 21. In the UK you have to be 18 to legally drink alcohol, so when I turned 18 back in 2014 I bought my first pint but felt like I was going to court drinking underage despite having a provisional driver's license. Having sex with animals, legal in 11 states in the US. Wait, people do that? Using a VPN, maybe not illegal exactly, but I definitely feel a little shady about it. Marrying your first cousin. Expressing my opinion on Reddit. I disagree. Driving around a legal recreation state fully aware of the weed I just bought, my dab pen, and a new bong in my backseat uncovered and perfectly safe from being arrested for any of those. Still can't get over it, lol. Basically the entire r/unethical life pro tips subreddit. Drinking Pepsi in a Coke glass. Walking around naked in Alabama. I shit you not, it's actually legal. Whoa, I gotta try that. I would, but IDK how I'd hide my erection. Telling the Walmart greeter no when he asks to see my receipt. Existing within the presence of a cop. Calling a guy daddy when we duck. Calling my wife daddy when we duck. R/churning. signing up for credit cards to get the sign-up bonus and then canceling 11 months later. I have reaped over $100k worth of flights and hotels since 2010 from points alone earned from sign-up bonuses. I never pay money for my vacations except Ubers and food, drink, entertainment. And even entertainment is sometimes covered with Chase points. I have turned my skeptical friends onto this, and the ones who took me up on it have traveled to Peru, Chile, Ireland, California, and tons of other places for free. It doesn't hurt your credit. I'm 16. I live in the US, but both my parents are German and I go there a lot. Since the drinking age is 16 there, I can drink there. Being completely naked except still wearing shoes. Being glad your toddler went to her grandmother's house for the weekend. I always feel so guilty for enjoying the quiet. Cutting a pizza into a spiral. Driving by a cop on the interstate while going the speed limit. Cheating on your SO. Adultery is a UCMJ offense for those in the military. Driving to the shooting range with a trunk full of guns. Taking a while inspecting and trying on some clothes and not buying anything in the end. Not tipping bad waiters. Buying kids underwear if you don't have a kid. Turning right on red. Turn left on red from a one-way to a one-way. Setting your company up in Bermuda so you don't have to pay tax. After making over 100 phone calls at my new job today, I feel like contacting strangers to their personal phones to solicit business inquiries really shouldn't be allowed. We are practically harassing people with these phone calls that they never answer or requested. Business should really only be allowed to call customers at their request because I would hate to be on the receiving end. Trying to pay for something with large bills. Every time they bust out the pen to make sure I'm not some counterfeiting mastermind. It almost makes me want to bring my own pen to stand there and check the change they give me back. How Apple Inc. avoids paying US taxes by having an Irish subsidiary own all of its patents and declaring all profits as licensing fees for the patents, which all go to their Irish subsidiary, that is, themselves, without paying US taxes. Going into a gas station just to use the bathroom. Accidentally injuring your dog in a minor way. In Germany, walking into a horse house. From a country where they're illegal, I felt shady as hell going over to do, checking the address, opening the door, going inside, and answering "Can I help you with I'd like to have sex please." In America, buying a gun and carrying a gun. I got a new gun over the weekend and my GF had a minor freakout wondering how I did it, if it was registered, etc. Until she remembered I've owned guns longer than I've known her. Walking out of the library with books that aren't mine having paid $0. Lobbying. Consuming any drug. Drug laws are written for possession. Watching your tiny child take a shower. Should be. Ducking an animal is still legal in 4 states. Those states are Wyoming, New Mexico, West Virginia, Hawaii. Watching porn for the first time. So, I've learned this great trick. When passing a police car, all you have to do is point at something as you're passing by it and they will look to see what you're pointing at. This works really well if you have a passenger. It's quite hilarious. Calling in sick, no matter what. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.